All right. Welcome on in, everyone, to another episode of First CSP, channel dedicated to bringing you the first council shoulder patch issued from each council in Scouting America, both past and present. Today we're going to take a look at Union Council 338 out of New Jersey. Council was a name change in 1928 from Elizabeth 338 and then was later absorbed by Watchung Area 358 in 1980. There are essentially three variations of the first issue that were the regular issues of Union Council before it was absorbed in 1980. We do have all three to take a look at today. So let's head over to the patch table, and here we have the T1A. T1A specifically defined by its red border, white background. We've got a yellow fleur-de-lis in the center with a bar that is notable when we get to the third variation. We have a dark brown eagle and our scroll here that states New Jersey. The stitching behind it, you can see, is vertical. So that's the T1A. It is not sure what I mean, it's cloth backed, it's not plastic, but it does have a complete backing on it. I don't know if this used to be all the way across and then some of it tore, or if it came manufactured like that, but this is what our T1A looks like. The backing does look as if you were to take a shirt for embroidery nowadays, and they have that backing they put before they do the stitching. That's similar to the production style here on both the T1A and the T1B. So there's the T1A. Let's take a look now at the T1B, and we'll do our best to make a comparison, put them up side by side. So here on the T1B, we also still have the red border, white background, yellow fleur-de-lis with a bar. The main distinction here is that the eagle is now just brown. It's no longer dark brown. When we look at the scroll that says New Jersey, it also is vertically stitched. I will say the font stitching here for New Jersey looks a little almost sloppy in comparison to the T1A. This one, it almost looks as if the coloration for the yellow thread on the scroll has almost bled out into the white a little bit. So this one definitely looks a little more aged. Not really sure what its life has been. It is stiff. It was not used, but just happens to be a long-lived patch. Same style backing here on the T1B. We just don't have it all covered up for half of it. But it's like that backing material you'd see again if you were taking a shirt to get embroidered nowadays. They put that backing so it'll stick, has something for the embroidery to go to on thin shirts or whatever. Same kind of thing here for this patch. It's not a style of embroidery you see, or it's not a backing material or whatever you want to call it that you see a lot on patches, but you do occasionally, especially the older ones. All right, let's move this down and we'll make our comparisons between the T1A original at the top, the first issue, and the T1B here at the bottom. You can see side by side, obviously the dark brown eagle really does stand out quite a bit more than the lighter brown eagle on the T1B. Also, as I've said, the New Jersey stitching here almost kind of looks a little sloppy in comparison. It looks like a tighter stitch here on the first issue. Even the fleur-de-lis looks a little tighter. Overall, just the production style on the second one doesn't look quite as clean as the T1A, the original. Now we have a third issue to look at as well, and that's the T1C. The T1C, the last one produced, still has the red border, white background, yellow fleur-de-lis, but this is the one with no bar. Notice there's no bar across the lower portion of the fleur-de-lis, so that makes it fairly distinctive. Also, We just have a brown, not dark brown eagle. It's pretty close in color, and we'll put it up against both the T1A and T1B. Pretty close to the T1B as far as the brown eagle. But what is also very distinct on the T1C is that the stitching on the banner at the bottom that says New Jersey is no longer vertical. This is now horizontal stitching. So no bar on the fleur-de-lis, and the horizontal stitching really make the T1C kind of stand out as far as the imagery from the front. When we go to the back, this one is a more modern plastic back. So if you have a picture of the back and it's plastic, again, I believe that is always going to be a T1C for Union. All right, let's put them up one at a time against first the original T1A at the top and the T1C here at the bottom. Again, the dark brown sticks out quite a bit. Here we see the bar on the fleur-de-lis on the T1A, no bar here. Here we have vertical stitching on the banner that says New Jersey. Here we have horizontal stitching. Again, when you have that horizontal stitching with the lettering, you can see it almost feathers out to the sides. So it also just doesn't quite look as clean. And now let's swap out the first issue for the second, T1B. So now we're looking at T1B versus the T1C. Again, you can see the color of the eagles is pretty similar. The browns look pretty close. But again, we're going to have a bar across the fleur-de-lis here in the T1B. We have no bar on the fleur-de-lis in the T1C. And again, the banners look completely different because of the vertical stitching here on the T1B and the horizontal stitching here on the T1C. I will say, of the patches, they certainly used a different twill material. This looks ultra bleached white in person, whereas the other two look like white that has somewhat aged, so they do maybe have a little bit of kind of a yellowish tint. I think maybe the style of white twill that was originally used on both the T1A and T1B. Kind of put all three here so you can kind of look at them next to each other. So this is T1A original on the side, and again we can see kind of the differences in the white. Obviously our T1B I think has lived a hard life, I don't know, because we have kind of the staining that is noticeable in places on the patch. But this looks like ultra white, whereas this looks like kind of a more cream white that you would, I think, generally expect of the era. Finish out just putting back up that first and last. So here is the T1A, here's the T1C for Union 338. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I really do like doing the videos where I'm able to present all the variations of the first issue so you can tell what was the original first issue versus the later CSPs that came after it. And if you're trying to identify those, say you wanted to purchase the first issue or you wanted to purchase one of the other variations, hopefully you're able to see enough of the distinctions here that you'd then be confident in going and just looking at a singular patch and finding exactly what you're looking for. Again, I want to thank everybody that comes back every single day to watch the videos. Really appreciate the community that's been building here with the channel, and I appreciate all of you. Obviously, without the viewers, this channel really doesn't exist, so thank you for that. Hope you guys have, again, enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll see you on the next episode tomorrow.